Lewis Hamilton and Team Mercedes continue their run of success as of late with their most recent performance at Spa over the weekend, where it really looks like they hold all of the momentum heading into summer break. I mean, we've got a Mercedes team here who has won 3 out of the last 4 Grand Prix, and if we're being honest, a majority of this success came off the back of Lewis Hamilton, who has had quite a bit of a resurgence as of late. I mean, before Spain in 2024, it really felt like Lewis Hamilton's time at the top of F1 was done and was never coming back. However, Mercedes, their engineers, the guys in the crew, along with Lewis Hamilton, have really started to put the puzzle pieces together here as they are making quite a magical run at not only the Drivers' Championship, but, more importantly, the Constructors' Championship for Team Mercedes. Because who knows if anyone is going to be able to catch Max Verstappen in 2024. What I can tell you is that there's a real possibility they can catch up to Team Red Bull here, especially with Checo's performances as of late. I mean, this guy hasn't cracked the top 5 since Miami. And Miami was at the beginning of May. We've had 3 races where he didn't finish. His last race was probably his most successful, and he ended with 7 points. He is really holding back Team Red Bull in the Constructors' Championship, and Mercedes is taking advantage of this. I mean, we've got a Lewis Hamilton who has been on the podium for not 1, not 2, but 5 races in a row here, and he's only going to continue to get better as his car and his team improves. And we'll talk more about Lewis Hamilton in a second, but I just want to remind you guys to slow down, like the video, and subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 5,000 subscribers, and every subscription is greatly appreciated. Alright, now let's get back to talking about Lewis Hamilton, who is having, like I said, a fantastic run. And of course, he isn't the only Mercedes driver to see some improvement as of late. I mean, George Russell has got most of his points since Monaco. Monaco, he ended with 10, and since then, it's gone pretty well in the races he's able to finish. I mean, we all remember that Austrian race for George Russell where he ended up winning it all and had 30 points where he brought it home for Mercedes. Of course, Belgium wasn't the kindest to him as he did finish first, but because he was 1.5 kilograms underweight, he was disqualified and didn't get any points. Of course, that's tragic. I mean, George Russell pulled off a fantastic one stop in Belgium where he was able to manage his tires for 30 plus laps, it felt like. So the fact that he was able to do that just means he's great at tire management, which is going to be very useful for these upcoming races. And hopefully, the team doesn't suffer another tragedy like the one at Spa. Now, the first race out of the summer break is, of course, in the Netherlands, Max Verstappen's home race, and he's looking to improve after having quite a bit of issues over these last couple of races. I mean, he hasn't managed to win a single race out of the last 4. When was the last time that Max Verstappen couldn't do that? Well, back in 2020. 2020 was the last year in which Max Verstappen had a 4-race streak where he didn't win a single one. And we're seeing that today. I mean, we've got Austria, where he finished in 5th. Great Britain, which was a 2nd place finish for him. Of course, he's going to fall short to Lewis Hamilton. Right as Lewis Hamilton is resurging, Max Verstappen is going to hit a bit of a decline. Crazy how the world works. And then you got Hungary, he finishes in 5th. And most recently, Belgium, where he finished in 4th. And had it not been for the disqualification of George Russell, we could have easily seen Verstappen finish in 5th for the 3rd out of his last 4 races. And this is kind of crazy when you try and remember how well Max Verstappen was doing at the beginning of the season, which feels like so long ago. I mean, Bahrain, Saudi, 2 first-place finishes. Australia, of course, he retires his car, but after that, he comes back, wins Japan and China, which put him at a great lead for the Drivers' Championship and, put Red Bull on his back for the Constructors. But since then, he's only won 3 races, and, he's looked great in all of them, but it's just not there for him. Maybe it's the car. Teams have really caught up to Red Bull when it comes to the car's performance, which might be one of the bigger issues at hand here, because it definitely isn't Max Verstappen's driving. Okay, maybe you could argue it's Max Verstappen's driving. He has been a bit reckless now that he's needed to compete more and not just lead for about 80% of the race. He's gotten into the thick of it with Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton multiple times, and it seems like every time he gets into a battle with one of these drivers, he doesn't come out on top. Who does come out on top is Lewis Hamilton. We've seen him battle it out with the best for the last 2 decades now. And so, of course, when the time is right, Lewis Hamilton is going to be there for Team Mercedes. Now, the thing about a majority of these upcoming races is that Lewis Hamilton has seen success there before. Of course, this isn't really true for the Dutch race, as Lewis Hamilton has never won there, but the reason being is that for a majority of Lewis Hamilton's prime, there was no race in the Netherlands. However, the Italian Grand Prix, which is the second soonest race, Lewis Hamilton has won that 5 times. Very familiar with the track. He won it in 2012, 14, 15, 17, and 18. So he knows what he's doing when it comes to the Italian Grand Prix, and he looks to find his 6th victory there in 2024. Now, as for Azerbaijan, well, it's only ever had 6 races, but in all of those 6 races, Lewis Hamilton has won one, and that was in 2018. Like I said, this man knows success. And then, of course, Singapore. Lewis Hamilton is a staple there. I mean, he won in 2009, one of his very first victories. And then we've got 14, 17, and 18. And I know the last time he's won a majority of these races was in 2018. However, the thing about Lewis Hamilton is that you can never count him out. And that hasn't been more true than this season. I mean, we've watched Lewis Hamilton come from the very depths of Formula One. He's come from the very bottom, and he just continues to surpass everybody's expectation. Just as you're about to count him out, well, he gives you a reason to believe in him again, and that's exactly what's happening in 2024 as Lewis Hamilton and Mercedes are pushing for that Constructors' Championship. Now, I do hope they continue to find success, not only because Lewis Hamilton is fantastic for the sport, but also because this would be a fantastic send-off from Lewis Hamilton to Team Mercedes. I mean, he's been there for almost his entire career at this point, and like I mentioned earlier, he will be leaving them for Ferrari in 2025. So what better way to end his tenure in Mercedes than with a Constructors' Championship? Of course, everyone can dream for that Drivers' Championship, but realistically here, let's set the bar at the Constructors' Championship, which I do feel is possible, especially with the way they've been performing. But anyway, I think I've said all I've wanted to. Like I mentioned, George Russell has been phenomenal for the team. Hopefully he's able to recover from this tragedy that struck him in Spa. It was really devastating. I mean, his reactions, he really felt like the crowd was behind him. Lewis Hamilton was a great teammate. They are a great duo together, and I hope that they find more success in the future. But like I said, that's about it for this Mercedes video. I've covered just about everything that's happened this season, and I can't wait to see more after summer break. Catch y'all later. Much love. Deuces.